Hey guys, Jeff Carver here. Just making a little video of my garden because I wanted to. And it's the first day of fall, and I think I've been waiting too long, in my opinion, to plant my new plants. Last spring, I started with a little project here, as you can see, kind of down here, these planter boxes, and you know, sometimes I get just a wild hair and I decide to do something and my wife thinks I'm crazy, but I just do it. And so what I got now, I grew a bunch of stuff in the spring, tomatoes and cantaloupe and watermelon and what else? Had some squash and pumpkins, had some carrots over there, and finally those all ran their course, ripped them out. I got them in a pile over here, just kind of composting. And I'm ready to plant my new plants in the fall here. So first day of fall, September 22nd. Still hot, still very hot out. And I'm hoping that this is the right decision to plant all this stuff. But anyway, for those of you who are interested, I live in Southern California and in the Inland Valley, where it's very hot and very, well, right now it's kind of sunny, but it's sort of overcast as well. It's just not easy to grow stuff here. And that's pretty much the reason why I started with raised planters, is because we've got a bunch of rocks in this area, and I'll show you a quick picture of the rocks that I've pulled out of here, or we've pulled out, or others have pulled out of our yard as we've dug and built walls and things like that. And they call them Altaloma potatoes because they are everywhere. They grow everywhere, it seems. So went ahead and built some raised planters because, well, I mean, you can put whatever kind of dirt you want in there. You can make them any size you want. It's kind of customizable, which is nice. And so I wanted to start small. I started with 3 of them. They're about 7 feet by 3.5 feet each. And so that was my first project. Now I've decided to expand, and I'll show you quickly what I'm doing there. But yeah, I just wanted to make a little video for you guys and hopefully you enjoy it. So here's a shot of the rocks they've pulled out of my yard here, and that's just in a footer. We dug a footer for this wall, and it's you can see there's a lot of those potatoes here. So if you live in this area, you know what I'm talking about. If you dug 6 inches down, you'd find rocks. So it's much easier to grow and raise planters than it is just directly in the ground, unless you can kind of get down there and sift it out. But that's not easy for us. So, all right, I'm gonna move on and show you my planter boxes, and then a little area where I'm expanding the garden. Okay, here are my planter boxes. I know it looks kind of ratty right now, but what I've done is I've put some more organic material in the boxes, compost and manure, chicken manure and steer manure, and I'm going to put some worm castings in as well. I just didn't want to overdo it. So, and what you do is after you do that, you kind of wet the soil, and then you put this plastic or any kind of tarp over it so you can keep the weeds away until you're ready to plant, and kind of sterilize it. And also, I think you just kind of keep the moisture in so that those living organisms can keep living and enjoying their life while you wait to plant and put your seeds in there. So I want to keep things alive. That's, I mean, by definition, that's what organic is alive, live organisms living in your garden. And so there's stuff in your garden that you want to keep growing, and you want to keep it alive, basically. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this off and show you what they actually look like, because they're actually kind of nice. So. And it is getting kind of hot a little bit, but we're gonna deal with that just fine because we're used to it here. It's actually about 20 degrees cooler than it has been. So I'm not gonna complain. Let's throw this over here for now. And then I'll jump and grab these off here. And it's easy when you have tons of rocks, you can keep your plastic from running away in the wind. And we will get some wind probably next month or two here. Santa Ana winds. But we're not going to worry about those. Okay. So you can see, they're pretty nice. Each of them is 7 foot by 3.5 foot and 18 inches deep. I used just redwood from Home Depot and built them with 4x4s in the corners. And I just cut those 4x4s at 24 inches in length. So I used one 8-foot 4x4 by 8 piece of redwood in each of the boxes and cut them into 4 pieces. So they actually go down about 6 inches below the dirt line, below ground level. And in the bottom of them, each of them I have just like a wire mesh. And that's to keep any kind of critters out. Not that the rocks won't already do that, but. And then you can see I put irrigation in there, and each of the boxes has a spigot that is set up for a drip irrigation system. I found that works great when they're seed, coming from seed or even a small transplant. But we had some pumpkins in that middle one and squash, and just after a while I couldn't even walk back there. That was my fault. I kind of designed it wrong, but so I just hand water every day. So, which is fine. If you're committed, you'll do it. And so that's my boxes there. And yeah, I got 3 of them. So I want to expand. If you look over here this way, I've got a wine barrel there that's got bell pepper and some herbs and stuff. But I've got another 18 feet or so that I'm going to put 3 more boxes in. And I've got plans for a lot more. But I want to start small and expand as I can. So that's what I recommend everybody do, is just expand, start small, and then even if you just got one of those little wine barrels and started with that, you know, if you got an apartment or a small house with a small patio in the backyard, but you got a little bit of sun, you can grow anything. So let me show you this other area I'm expanding this year. I'm gonna put some new, I'll put some broccoli and some cabbage and things like that are a little bit larger size plants. So I'll pan over there next. So this is the side of my house. Fortunately, I have plenty of room between my house and my neighbor's house. And I've got this ground. It's on the ground. You can see it starts here and it goes all the way back about 50 feet, and it's about 3 feet wide. And it was just all dirt kind of running in on the sidewalk. But my brother-in-law, Sam, he gave me these pieces of wood. They're treated pieces of wood that I just kind of laid in there, fit them to the size, and yeah, they work nice, and it keeps the dirt separated from the concrete, and I can do some good planting. So I've got that 3 foot by 50 foot or so area. I'm going to put broccoli and cabbage this winter. I know I get a lot of shade right now, so I'm kind of concerned about that, but hopefully it won't matter too much. I'm not quite sure. So I'm still a novice at this, but let me show you this other planter I have. You can see this one here. It's 3 feet, and it goes roughly, let's see here if I pan back out. It goes about 78 feet, 80 feet. And you can see I just have these sort of pointless bushes. I call them pointless, but yeah, they sit there and absorb water, and that's about it. But I've started to replace them, and I started back here. You can see I have some little citrus and a grapevine there. Citrus grows really well out here in the Inland Valley. So I started replacing. I've got on the far right a lime, and then a lemon, orange, and a grapefruit. And on the far left of the screen you see a perlette grape. And what I want to do, some people think I'm crazy, but here in this area we grow wine grapes, and I want to replace these bushes, maybe not all of them, but some of them, with wine grapes and make some wine. So that's pretty much the extent of my garden. Although I do have, if you look, I'll show you real quick. I got another herb garden. Let's move this way. another little wine barrel over here that I've just set up with herbs and some peppers. So those seem to be doing awesome. You can see that big, I'll just kind of walk over here, I guess. This giant basil actually was a cutling from my brother's house, and now it's like a tree. And so it seems to be doing really well. But yeah, and the peppers are doing great. Purple basil over there is not doing too awesome right now, but it was. And I've got jalapenos, cilantro, or I had cilantro that died out, and then chives I've got. So I like to keep my herb garden doing well too, because it just adds a lot to your diet, your flavors of your food and all that. So we've used a ton of that in the past few months here. So anyway, I'm going to start planting. I want to show you guys what I'm going to do. So let's do it. So I'm sitting here on my raised planter box, and what I'm going to do is each of these I'm going to put 2 different varieties of vegetables or whatever I'm growing, just to make it simple on myself, so I know what I'm doing or what I'm dealing with, and it's not too difficult to find, you know, hey, or remember what I planted at each one. But I've got these seed packets from mypatriotsupply.com, and they're pretty well packaged, real nice, cheap, inexpensive, I should say. But you can see, I'll just show you the onions that we're doing, red burgundy onions. And I don't know if you can see here. This is the package. It gives you some instructions, and also you can visit their website to see what to do if you have any questions. But it's pretty basic. These you plant them direct. It says may be planted in the fall, about 4 inches apart and 1/2 inches below the surface. So I'm going to just do that. And then the carrots are 2 inches apart and 1/2 inches below the surface. And I'm just going to pack them in real tight and see what happens. That's what I did in the spring, and it seemed to turn out fine. We had a great harvest of everything that we planted. So that's what I'm going to do next. So I just opened this package, and it's a package within a package. You can see how many seeds you get here with these packets here. It says germination is 80%, and they test these, it looks like. They test them ever so often. This says it was tested in June for 99% purity and germination of 80%. So these are Danvers half-long carrots. So I'm going to go ahead and start planting these just every couple inches, and hopefully we'll get some good carrots out of it. So one of the things I've noticed in raised planting, especially kind of a larger size like this, is that you get high and low spots, and then your water tends to pool or go in places that you may not be directing it. And so I'm trying to just level it out. I got this little yardstick, and just level it out so I don't get too many low or high spots when I'm planting here. And it just makes it look a little nicer too, you can see. And so what I'm going to do essentially is just lay this down, center it, and every couple of inches I'm going to just push down 1/2 inch, every 2 inches for these, in a nice little row. And I'm doing that just to mark where I'm going to put these seeds, because these seeds are real tiny, and if you don't mark where you want to put them, you end up scattering them everywhere, especially with carrot seeds and smaller seeds like that. Just real kind of easy to make mistakes. And I'll just put one back there. I'm going to do just a couple, maybe 3 rows, 4 rows of these carrots. And last year, the first growing season of the year, we're great. It's great here because we get to have 2 growing seasons in California in a lot of places, just because of the weather is so nice, and even though it's hot here, we still get the benefits of some really good weather. Last few months ago, I planted carrots, and
Got about 10 pounds harvest, which was really nice. But this year, or this season, I want to get a little more. So I like to juice them. Carrot juice mixed with apple juice, or even by itself, is really nice, really good. And so yeah, that's what I want to do. Some of these might be blocked by this. I'll have to move that. I'm going to do 4 rows here of carrots. And it looks like that's going to be about 50 plants. 50 carrots. I'll take 50 carrots. That's good. So I'll probably stop the video, and I'm going to do this for all of the carrots and onions as well, at the appropriate spacing. Whatever you see on that package, you want to kind of follow that, just because I think they obviously are going to know what to do more than I'm going to know what to do. So I'll continue this, and I'll show you what I do, give you a little close-up view when I'm ready, right? Okay, so I've got my onion seeds here, and you can see, I can get them on the camera here. They come in a little packet as well. They're black, look like little pieces of charcoal or something like that, but there's plenty of them here. I've put all my spacing together already in the, it's kind of hot here, in the planter here. You can hear the neighborhood dogs going, I think. Maybe not. But how I'm going to do it, I'm just going to simply take a few of these at a time, and I'm literally going to put 1 seed in each. It's at a 1/2 inch, so I'll make that. And then I'm just going to cover it up real nicely. And the same thing here, I'll make sure it's not more than a 1/2 inch. I made the mistake the first time of not reading the instructions on my carrots, and I put them like 6 inches deep, and thinking, well, carrots are 6 inches long, and that's how deep they need to be, but the seeds only need to be a 1/2 inch. Those, needless to say, most of those, if not all of them, never came up. But you can see I'm just dropping 1 seed per little hole here, and I'll continue to do that until they're all done. I can see, I was going to mark these with like toothpicks or something like that, but I can see where I put them, and I kind of remember that. So you can see right here, 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 and here are the spots where I'm putting them. I'm putting them every 4 inches. And I'm just going to make it real tight and packed in here and see what happens. You know, that's kind of, to me, that's like, let's get this thing going and make it worthwhile here. So I'm going to finish planting the rest of this, and then I'll start on the next one. So you can see I'm finished planting these onions and carrots, and now I'm just going to lightly water them. Just to get them, help them germinate. Not too much. You can see I don't have very many areas where the water's pooling now, because I leveled that out, so that's cool. And just want to lightly water them, and that's it for now. And I'll probably just continue to hand water them every day. I planted them too close together to really get some drip irrigation in there, so I'll just come out every day in the morning and do it. All right, I've gone ahead and planted all the planters, all 3 planters, and I've got on the far left, I've got onions and carrots. Middle, I have a bunch of salad mixes, and on the far right, I've got romaine in the back and spinach in the front. So now I'm going to go ahead and plant my broccoli and cabbage, and that's a little different story. So let me show you. Okay, I decided to put broccoli and some cabbage down this row, and they're a little bit larger plant, and so what I want to do is space them out. They say to space them out every 2 feet, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And because this is only 3 feet wide, I'm just going to put 1 seed or so every 2 feet, so I should get about 25 plants. And I'll probably I definitely like broccoli more than I like cabbage, so I'll probably do more broccoli than cabbage. So we'll see though. Here comes a motorcycle down the road. Let me get started. So here's my broccoli seeds, and you can see they're kind of like these little round seeds. They're dark brown and black and sort of a deeper red in some of them. Yeah, they look like little poppy seeds or something like that. So I'm just going to put 1 of these every 2 feet and see how they come up. All right, so I'm done with the planting of the broccoli and the cabbage.
And I did about 3/4 of the way down with broccoli and 1/4 of the way with cabbage, because that's just my preference. And I saved all my seeds, so if I want to add to it later, that's fine. But thanks for watching. I hope it was helpful. And you know, if like I said before, if you're wanting to get into doing some gardening and whatnot, I would start small with maybe one of the wine barrels, or just the little planter boxes that you can buy at Home Depot or Lowe's, and just put some potting mix in there. Start growing stuff on your back porch. It's fun, and yeah, it's rewarding too. In a few weeks, we'll be seeing all this stuff kind of coming up and greening up, and I'll give you an update then. So, hope you enjoyed it. Talk to you guys later. Bye.